There are times that situations we call for being alone with God. All right, if you really want to understand the nitty-gritty of the dealings of God in your life, there are times that you will have to come out of the noise. You will have to come out of the current forces. You will have to come out of the current influence and go into the place where you will need to hear God alone. Once upon a time, we were waiting for our daughter's arrival. And I said to my wife, hey, we've been waiting and maybe God has been talking to you. But for me, the Lord has not said anything to me about this girl. Okay, but before she was born, he told me some things and I'm holding to it. But right now, I'm not hearing anything. And the way for me to hear, I need to go to areas of activation where I know that the Lord will be able to speak to me. So I need to embark on a journey. And I told her I need to go to Sokoto. We booked the flight and I left Lagos. The moment I arrived Sokoto and I was coming out of the flight, the plane, I heard Oluwafikayomi, Oluwafikayomi, Oluwafikayomi. And I called my wife. Maybe I sent a message and I said, please, what is the meaning of this name, Oluwafikayomi? And she sent me the meaning. I said, well, that's the name of our daughter. Now, bear in mind that I'm not Yoruba. I'm Delta, but now from Zion. All right? So, I knew that what God needed was he wanted my attention. So he scrambled his voice. Scrambled everything that will have to pertain to her life. And the way I operate in my life is I find strength when I'm down with the things the Lord had said to me. So if you are encouraging me, the way I find strength, you may be talking and you will hit a note. You will not know. You will just say something and it will be within the ambit of what the Lord has said to me before. And then I begin to gather my strength. Who does it happen to if it happens to you? Or I say, oh no, that phrase, God used that phrase to speak to me. So that guy that is talking to encourage you becomes a means for revival. He's bringing you back to life based on the things you have received. So he left his servant and he went on a day's journey. There is another man that did this kind of a thing in the Bible. What's his name? What's his name? Jacob. For Jacob to embark on a new journey because a shift was coming, he needed to stay with the Lord. He said he divided his troop, his family, into 3 troops. The first we go, the second we go, and then the third we go. Meaning, if this man killed the first one, maybe he will have mercy by the second. If he doesn't have mercy, maybe by the third. By the time he did that strategy, that was human philosophy and human reasoning. But by the time he was told that, guy, your brother is coming with mighty army, he knew. Nobody had to advise him. He knew this time around that he needed to seek the face of the Lord. So the Bible said he sent them so that he can be alone. That word alone with God was sculptured out of, scripted out of the utterance of Jacob, that he is going to be alone with the Lord. So when God begins to bring you into new journeys, you don't assume that you know. You don't assume that you know what God is saying. In other words, I'm saying to you that there are times God says, I will bless you, and you just took the word literally and believed that you have an understanding of what it means for God to bless you. Meanwhile, there are people that God will say, hey Jacob, I'm going to bless you. And that word bless you does not necessarily mean to come into material things, to come into physical blessings, but rather it means a process for you to being blessed has begun. It's now beyond having natural things, having gifts. Instead of people gifting you with things, people now punish you. You say, that's a blessing. There are distractions that are in your life that before the blessing comes, God will have to cut them off.